Your sign is...
I've been playing music with Eric here for the better part of 30-some years. I too have my own radio show, The Rabbit Hole.
And please plug that a little bit more. Tell people where they can hear it, how they can hear it.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. on fuzztalkradio.com. You can tune in to hear me and my brother do a bunch of nonsense.
And looking very debonair.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do have a dress code. Because we were made for radio. Yeah, and I got a wife. I got 2 kids, 2 teenagers, so that has kept life interesting as well. But yeah, that's kind of the zoomed out look of my life.
All right.
Yeah.
Eric?
I'm Eric, father of 3, married to my wife for 21 years now, carpenter, and music, I guess. We've been playing music since junior high, or loving or writing music, and then Ryan comes along, and so that's basically been the other occupier of life, is just writing and, honing that craft, not realizing how much there is to it to getting to where you want to be with it. But so, yeah.
Well, and tell us a little bit more about how you guys got together initially, because it's a long story. I mean, it's not a long story maybe to tell, but you guys have a long history.
Yeah.
Very long.
We do.
Well, I'll say that it was in 9th grade, and I was in 8th grade, and there was a talent show, and I knew who Ryan was, but I'd never talked to him yet, and his band was doing a Judas Priest cover, Living After Midnight, and he went down for the solo on his knees, as he should have, and it was like...
could get back up.
Yeah, back then I could get back up. You asked me to do that today? No.
But so I knew who he was, and it'd probably be when I was in 10th and you were in 11th, and we were putting the first band together, and our friend Brian asked if he could bring a guitar player, and it was Ryan. So then, now it's silly to say, but I was super nervous because I knew who he was, and I'm like, oh, Ryan's coming over. And he showed up in the John Bender trench coat with the herringbone, and he had the gloves on with the fingers cut out.
That's awesome.
Because this was this was '89, so this was the look for '89.
Yeah.
And like it said in our bio, it was a fun one, and I knew that we would play again because he left all his stuff at my house. So I'm like, okay, so this might become a thing.
There's going to be a second date.
Yeah, there's going to be 30 years of that, right?
It's the band version of leaving your earrings
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's us in a nutshell, I guess.
Well, I was telling them before before you got here too, about the scooter ride I took over to your house. This was probably 91, maybe.
2. 91, I'd be graduating, so 92, yeah.
And I just told them I bought a scooter with the money I had saved up to move to Tennessee.
That didn't happen.
That didn't happen because for whatever reason, and rode over, got into his driveway, he walks out, and he's like, hey, you want to start a band? And then that was it.
That was it.
How long ago was 92?
30 years? 32 years?
32 years.
Is that right? I don't know. I did math.
Yeah.
It's
not important.
It's not relevant anymore. Like I was coming down here, I'm like, how old am I? And then before you reach the big milestone, you skip the year before it, but now I've already skipped that. I've passed it. This is just what I am. I'm this age.
You're paused.
Yeah. So, but, yeah.
I was going to say you both have music, but your music together, like, are you, and all the bands and iterations of music, how many are you working together in with all the, because you have Rockford Mules, what?
Yeah, Rockford Mules is both of us, and Mountain Made Low is both of us.
Okay.
Those are the current ones, and then he's got Frequency Collisions that he does on the side, and then I have a Mudfoot Barker that I do that's similar to Mountain Made Low, but I think it's going to be a little more lo-fi, a little more, he puts the dazzle to the records that I put out, and so I think that when I do my hand at it, it'll be very, 1997 bedroom demo sounding stuff, which I kind of like. So
Don't have to have all that glitter on it.
yeah, right. No effects, just
Me and my glitter.
well, it's beautiful glitter, But so I think we have the two together, and then we have each other's own thing, which I think is good.
Yeah.
Because if you're not just stuck with, I won't say stuck. You're not just
Stuck.
you're not just held to one. Because if a lot of times
No
if
idea
one's
you felt
not
this way.
if one's not
30
happening,
years, man.
it's stuck. It's beyond stuck. It's fused at this point.
You ain't never getting rid of me.
Cemented.
But if you need something else, you have that other thing that
Yeah.
like he maybe doesn't like the way, like I'll listen to like Neutral Milk Hotel or something like that.
And why wouldn't you?
But Ryan might go. He might be like, "Oh, the bass is too over," and he might see technical things wrong with it, where there's something just kind of gritty, fray about it that I really like. That maybe so that might not be something we would ever do together sound wise. But so I can go over there and satisfy my need for that. But then and what we do together is more important. It's more based on what I do, but you have that to get that side out if I'm not going to get it through playing with him.
Is that how Mountain Made Low originated? Like you guys wanted, since you do so many other things, what sparked this project for you two?
Well, I think he and I share the same love of really kind of somber, mellow music, and that wasn't something that the Rockford Mules do, really. And so, but you have to go somewhere with that energy and that drive to want to create something different, and we just seem to really connect making that kind of music together. Like, I know what to do with whatever he does, and my brother asked me once, he's like, why do you like making music with Eric so much? And can I say bad words?
Anything?
Little bad words.
Yeah.
Little, like,
Not
like
the
S-
Just
accent.
You can.
Yeah.
I can say
Yeah.
that. Okay, so my brother asked me, like, what do you like? What do you like
Sure.
about making music with Eric? And I told him, I said, there's not going to be any BS. There's not going to be any bullshit with Eric. He's going to give me exactly where he's at that moment in his life. It's going to be real. It's going to be honest, and there isn't going to be any nonsense to it. And that's just something that I've always enjoyed about it. There's no fluff. There's no chasing like a trend. It's just honest. It's just where we're at, and I can't think of any other way to make music. So when I want to create with others, it's kind of got to come from that spirit a little bit. So.
When you create, are you in the room together, or do you say, I thought of something that we should do together? How much of it is, where is the collaboration lines?
Yeah. It's kind of both, where like I'll be at home writing on something, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. Like for some reason the last 3 weeks I'd pick up to play and it look all the guitar looks like it's a G chord, and I'm like, all right, we're done, and I just put it back. But there's sometimes like over Christmas break where it was just like bam, 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 and so then I'll bring stuff to him, and then we'll write on that, and then a lot of times in between working on things together, he'll go off on something, and then what we're working on needs to get set aside because you just suddenly came up with something, and we're like, oh, let's circle back to that, and so then we'll hit record and we'll work on that. And so usually every practice that we get together, somebody plays something that somebody jumps on, and then now you got another idea rolling, or you got something, so it happens all over the place, really. It's not at this point it's apart or together, because if I'm not playing next to him, I may be feeling something and I'm thinking of him, where I'm like, oh, this would be, here's a softball for him. I'm going to throw him a juicy one to put a guitar line to, or whatever, So yeah, it happens in both places and all the time. You don't get together without something suddenly coming. And even when we did the Rockford Mule stuff, we'd be working on for a show, and then You'd play something, and then everyone's like, "Whoa, go to that!" You could never get away from writing. It was like it was always there, waiting to come out. Somewhere, somehow.
Sparks
So
flying around.
yeah.
That's my ADHD.
Well, and it works, and we're all
Comes in handy. Comes in handy.
So, yeah, that's the writing part of it.
Well, and I imagine a lot of the communication, you've known each other as long as many brothers have known each other, is just nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just like my sister is in town this weekend, and there are times where we can just look at each other and go, "Oh, shouldn't have said that." Oh, good, she gets that one too, But then there's an honesty, because then you can start. Yeah, did I want to go get a manicure? As you know, Katie, I've been a lifelong nail biter. I do not.
Yeah.
So you can get mad at each other without getting mad at each other. So you can be more honest. Like,
Yeah.
at least I don't have to show up and say, "Oh, emergency call from a kid."
Right.
That's got to be nice.
Yeah. I think, whether personally, whether word-wise, whether musically, I think it's been so long that you just know how someone's going to react, or what they know about it, or how they feel about it, so.
Okay, I need to ask. No, I put that
You
one
did.
back.
Okay.
Since you do have so many different bands and stuff you're in, I want to know how you picked the name for this one, because I think that's important, because it's hard to. It lives with you.
And there's
there's
Yeah.
a definite biblical implication in my mind.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in Isaiah 40, the raise every valley and make every mountain low. I thought that name, I thought that with where we were at, there was a lot to work with it. It was an umbrella over a lot of really cool colors and things that where we were at musically would fill, and that would be a nice caption. A nice, what am I trying to say? A nice place to put that. It would fit,
It's a lyric too from a Newell song. You put that in there.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of the song. But that's where I got it from. And
Okay.
I didn't realize the biblical implications until I started doing churches, to get ideas for visual stuff. I'm like, oh, because I don't consider myself a religious man.
Yep.
I'm a whatever.
Which works well because I do,
Yeah.
and so there's.
He's been trying to save me.
Yeah, good luck.
Hang on to him.
But
He'll pull you in.
it's one of those ways where with being a Christian, it's not Christian music. I don't want to write Christian music. I want to write lyrics from the walk of it, from the struggle, from the pits, from the heights to the redemption, to the forgiveness, to the all of that stuff. And so it was always important, and they knew that, and the band knew that, and I never denied myself of what I believed, but I also never took it in a way that it drew them into needing to be like that. So it kind of
you're ambiguous enough with your words that I think everybody can find something in it.
Yeah.
No matter where they come from.
Yeah, I have it rooted in where it comes from me, but yeah, I always think it's important to leave it open to where it can go to somebody else and they can plug in and it can do that thing for them, And I just like those kind of lyrics anyway. I like cryptic, you're saying something like, my wife will always be, that sounds really good. So what is that about? Then I'll explain it, and she'll be like, oh, okay, And I've always liked those kind of lyrics in bands that I've listened to, where it isn't coming so obvious. I gotta dig a little and go, what are they? But there is art to obvious lyrics too. We've come around to that, but with how we coexist with that, I take a lot of care with Ryan, and I take a lot of care with the other guys to not be imposing while still being who I am. You know what I mean? In that. And I think that it's worked. No one's had a problem with it.
I've just had nothing better to do for the last 3 decades.
Right. So that's where that came from, and yeah.
Well, and I know in literature, which is what I studied, in English language, the three most alluded to subjects are Shakespeare, mythology, and the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not, and I am not religious, but I did go to Catholic schools for like 14 years.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, you're not wrong. But people know the, it's
Mhm.
something, so that draws people into the story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. There's something behind
And you
it.
can just start fitting in some Shakespeare lyrics or something.
Use a lot of vowels and arts and
That's how.
Yeah. That would be
A
it.
lot of that.
Yeah.
There was at a comic book store. My boy and I used to go there a lot a few years ago. He was into it, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then there's a lot of comics that you're like, should that be a comic? You know what I mean? There's adult you're like, whoa, what's,
Shouldn't that be on a higher shelf?
Yeah, right.
A 9-year-old
right.
does not
Well,
need
this,
that.
yeah, a curtain
Yeah.
across them or something.
Yeah.
But there was Star Wars comics read in Shakespeare, and so
Nice.
it's like Return of the Jedi spoken, all the lines in Shakespeare, and it was brilliant. I didn't get, sorry, I didn't
Where
understand.
Fartho, Han Solo.
Yeah, right. You're just like,
Can you imagine Yoda doing Shakespeare?
oh yeah, that's already screwed up.
Oh, yeah,
It'd
that
probably
would
be
be a
normal.
Although
Should we listen to a song?
I know.
Do you want to tell us about this song before we listen to it?
Which one are we doing?
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4
Yeah.
Dead.
I think that it was the first one we recorded. It would be our single off of What I Don't Know. We're making a record at the moment. What it's about, you should ask him. He writes all the lyrics.
Well, it's called Left 4 Dead, Out of Love, and there's ways that can be taken. It's like you've been left for dead out of a love for you. You know what I mean? So it's almost a song about being brought to the end of yourself and thinking that it's the end, but it's actually you're being set up for something greater. You know what I mean? So it was love that left you for dead. You weren't left out of love. If that makes sense.
That totally clears it
Yeah,
up.
right.
Clear as mud.
Cryptic.
Yep.
So that's that song. Yeah.
My mom always makes fun of it. She doesn't make fun
She
of
makes
you,
fun
but,
of me?
But she never knows what the hell you're talking about.
That makes for good lyrics.
Yeah, that's
though.
right.
Keep
Yeah.
me on your toes here.
Yeah.
Speculation.
Mountain Made Low. There we go.
Okay, I only have one of the Mountain Made Low songs.
That's all there is.
That's all there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you're like, which one is that? I was like, I only have one. Okay. You want me to look at the ones that you said too, or
Sure.
should we just talk?
Okay,
Well,
let's
whatever.
just talk. Talking's
Chat
fun.
too.
Okay.
If that's easier for you.
No, it's whatever you want, but I was like, I want to make sure that I'm
Yeah.
doing what you prefer.
No, I like
Okay.
talking.
Okay. Good.
I'm not a talker.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I like this. And then you get a mic in front of you because I'm not much of a talker when we play. So I'm like, here, you do your thing,
Right.
and
The
then
amount
we'll
of times
count.
I've had people come up to me after shows and go, "What's the name of your band?" Because he won't say anything.
Well, I'll say stuff, but it's it's not in my thing of hey, good evening, we're the Rock from Mules. How y'all doing? I'm like, nope, you're getting nothing. You're gonna get a count in, and we're gonna start playing. And so that's why
That's why you guys work so well.
it. I didn't think about it till we started playing, and you said, "I'll have a mic in front of me." I'm like, "Yes, you will. That will be perfect."
Yeah.
I love this song.
Thank you. We recorded that in my basement.
That's right. You have the studio down there. 'Cause you moved.
Studio.
Well, a couple of years ago you moved, right? Or maybe
Yeah,
it's
we've
been
been there.
4?
It's been about 3-4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that.
COVID times, I think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved right in the middle of.
Yeah, because we got you on a Zoom.
I think you were just moving in
Well,
or
that was
something.
right around the quarantine dream
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
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 I love doing that. I love recording. Like if I had to give up choose one thing about making music, I would record.
Record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Like shows, it's funny because you're like, yeah, do them, book them. And then they show up that morning, I'm like, why do we do that? You know, but then you get there and it's always fun.
Yeah,
But
you
it's,
get the energy.
I don't know, I just get so much anticipation beforehand that it's like, I got to take the day off to like almost do nothing because I'm no good to, I can't work, and you think by now it wouldn't be, you know, anything. Even coming down here, I'm like, you're a 51-year-old man. You know what I mean? Stop being nervous. You know, But it's like
Oh,
I
you're
don't.
making me feel so much better. Thank you.
Spouting the
But it's
age out there.
true.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well yeah. It's.
After all this time,
I'm like,
to get
why am
used to this.
Why am I still nervous? I still get nervous.
Well,
I still care. I
That's
still
okay.
hope
Well,
that I
that's
say
it.
something smart. You know. I hope I don't look dumb. I don't think that's a bad.
Yeah,
you know.
no, but it's
No.
important to you. It's part of you. Your
Yeah.
music. It's personal.
Well,
you know?
and if we're talking about stuff and it's like I want to say the right thing. I want to, and I like these questions. I like engaging the heart of things because sometimes it's just like so. You're like so listen, and you're just like, what did we do this for? You know, we
Yeah.
didn't even get into a conversation about what we do or what we think, and I don't know. It's.
Yeah.
But so this is nice. I like when we get rolling like this, and you're like, all right, forget the other songs. Let's just talk all
Yeah.
that time, you know.
Yeah. Good. 25 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, my wife noticed the sign behind my head.
Oh, I can imagine which one.
Oh.
She's like, great sign behind your head. Like, whoops.
That is Left for Dead, Out of Love by Mountain Made Low on Mostly Minnesota Music on WMCN 91.7 FM in St. Paul. And we have Mountain Made Low right here in the studio.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I love that song.
Thank you.
You know what's funny is it suits the rainy weather to me.
Mhm.
It's that slow pace where
Yeah.
you can kind of
Yeah.
groove into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was another one where, like, I remember where I wrote the acoustic part, but then when him with that guitar just, pam, pam, I mean, it's like,
Nailed it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's two notes. You're like, but don't do anything. That's it. You know, I don't know. Sometimes.
It's the restraint of holding
right.
back.
Right.
Well, and part of that too is like neither one of us are trained musicians, and so sometimes we'll stand on the like the fewer that you can say more with 2 notes than you can with 20, and it's like, well,
It's
I can't
true.
play 20 notes, so
Yeah, so we
It's,
really lean on that.
we lean into our strengths.
It's, who was it? Did Eddie Van Halen say if it sounds good, it is good?
I think that
or
was
something
David,
like-
David
Oh,
Lee
that's-
Roth.
yeah.
David Lee Roth. Okay, so that's what we subscribe to. Where, not to tear my playing apart, but there's been times where someone's like, "That's really cool. What's that key?" And I don't know. I down tuned to this string, and then this fourth string I brought up to this one, and I do this, and I don't know what that's in, but I like the sound of it, and then he can find something to put to it, and we're good. You find a way with what you got.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm a big fan of less is more because with the silence, we kind of fill in the gaps with what we are getting from your song too. So I feel like it even
Right.
builds it more.
Right. It's not being so crammed full of all
Yep.
this stuff. It leaves that openness. And even though it's a song, it's almost like it kind of gives you room to breathe. Even if you're in a bad spot, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you can shut your eyes and things might be crazy, but this kind of leaves some open space. And, I think we've been kind of writing from that place a lot more. Like we did a band 3 bands ago, Blood Pine, and it was the 2 of us again, but it was like really just like, oh my God, we're gonna die. I mean, we didn't imply that, but it was like it was the end of the world. Every song, you're like, you give a cat 9 lives and they're gonna die after every song.
You wouldn't make it out of that, right?
No, but so this time it was nice because we were like, hey, it's okay to write a uplifting song. It's okay to write a song to smile about or to you know. And so that was a lot of fun to just, because you knew it's always there, but it was like, you know, being musically macho, it was like, no, it's Sad Bastard and all this other stuff, or I'm so bad, you know. But then at some point it's like, you can only do that so much, and then it's like, you get to our age and you're like, you know, everything's really good, you know. Life is good. Life is as tough as it gets. It's really okay. So let's, at least for me lyrically, I'm like, let's celebrate that, you know. Let's look at that, because everybody knows that it's things are hard and stuff, you know. But let's just look past that and give someone something, give a different horizon to walk towards, you know. But
Is that an actual conversation that you guys had when you started this iteration, or did it just happen where you were both in the same place?
Conversations we have.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about.
As it's kind of happening, because I don't think we're intentional without being intentional.
Okay.
You know, if that makes any sense. Like, I think we know the road we're traveling on. We just don't know what we're going to encounter when we musically travel that road.
yeah, we know the
he'll
color.
bring an idea down, and then he always says, like, I never would have thought of doing that with that once we do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I went to Solid, and suddenly the time signature changes, and now you got this thing going here, where before it was just like this, but now we're doing this, and it's like, oh, and then it turns everything, you know what I mean? So it's kind of nice having that other person there to, you know, turn it on itself and go, well, you know, to make it even better, you know, yeah. I don't know.
Perfectly
It's so perfectly complicated that it's almost, you know, hard to describe. But
I think that's probably why we've just been doing it for so long, because it's always. I'd like to think I keep surprising him, you know, because he loves his lo-fi stuff, and so I like to bring a little atmosphere to that.
Yeah.
And I think it causes him, like you said, he's like, oh, I never would have thought of that. I look at it, and he's said multiple times, it's like a different song now.
yeah, like look with the Mudfoot Barker record that I have out there. I recorded the songs in his living room, and then basically let him have them, and then he took the 6 or 7 songs, and he would, all right, I got another one done, and he'd send it to me, and it was like, I mean, I would just be like I couldn't believe I had anything to do with it. It was what I gave him, but then it's how he dressed it and how he, you know, it was never enough to change it. It only enhanced the things that I had set there that I were like, this and this and this, and he's like, oh, well, we can do this with that, and then, you know, I'd get done hearing it, and I'm like, wow, you make me sound way more better than I actually am on my own, you know, and so
way more better,
way more better,
better.
yeah,
Way more better.
much more better.
so much gooder.
But you know, but yeah, you bring some. I don't know. That's what keeps you going back, you know.
But I couldn't do that without, because most of the time it's a foundation that he's laying down, because he's writing words, and he's got a lot of times it's based off of songs he's written already, and I just get to come over, and it's like decorating the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Mm-hmm.
I was
It's
gonna say
fun.
that just enhances. I love, like, I'm a kid that would sit for hours in front of VH1s behind the music or whatever, and I want to hear all the
Yeah,
stories of
this
the
or that.
band or whatever.
Yeah,
And just your relationship, how long and musically and what you've done, like, enhances even the sound, but it makes the music so much richer, because it's
Yeah.
just like you're rooting for this beautiful
right. You
friendship,
know what's
too.
behind it. Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I do. That's
You
huge
just
for
become
me.
so
Yeah.
familiar. Like, I know I know the things he's going to appreciate, and and vice versa, and because he'll say, "I got one that's perfect for you," and 9 times out of 10 it is. It's pretty rare that he'll bring me something that I'm like,
With only with that ADD, if I could get him to listen to the whole thing before he starts in, I'm like, now listen till I'm done, so you get it, okay? And I'm like,
The whole
chung
story.
chung. Suddenly I'm hearing twang twang. I'm like, listen, you know. But We get through it.
Well, that's just how instantaneous it is.
Right. Well, I suppose if you see
like
something,
I'm hearing it.
might
Yeah.
have stopped you
I
from.
gotta chase it.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm sorry, I won't
Something shiny.
I won't stop you anymore.
Okay.
I'll just let it go.
I will try to be better at listening to the whole thing. before.
On-air therapy. Well, I will be better at
Yes.
understanding
Use your words
what you
wisely
need.
here.
What I hear you're saying is,
Yeah.
right.
this is like a behind the scenes thing. We've had a fight, we've had it coming together.
But it is like a musical marriage.
Oh,
family,
absolutely.
for
all
sure.
of- yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it I mean, there were times, who knows, where it's like, you know what I mean? But something happens when it becomes that long, and you don't even realize it's been that long because you've just been doing it, and then you look back and you're like, and then you can really appreciate what's developed. You know, not overnight, obviously, but it's developed, and you see what you actually have in a writing partner and a friend, and I forgot what I was talking about right there.
No,
You're a musical marriage.
It's perfectly complicated. I get lost.
Nice.
There's
You
so
were the
many
ADD
side
sometimes
roads.
helpful. You don't have to finish your sentence. You can just go right.
Got it.
I just
got
go,
it.
tell him, Ryan. Yeah, we always finish each other's sentences. So when I get
no, it's fun though to like if you look back to some of the stuff you were writing 20 years ago. It's just really kind of fun to see like that's who we were at that time, and this is who we are now, and it's just fun. I think life is better when you've got people that you trust and folks that you care about to walk through it, whether that's musically or personally, you know.
And it is musically because it is a very personal thing. You know, like once upon a time we were supposed to be rock stars, right? And then when it never happened, and then you got to reset yourself. And so almost the best thing that could have never happened was that, because now you have nothing. You have nothing to lose, and everything you thought was going to be is no more. So you can basically get down to being as genuine as you are, because there's nothing contingent on you being anybody else. You know what I mean? And so then I think you can really drive straight to the heart of whatever you're getting at all the time. And that's a very personal thing, especially if you've done it this long and you love it this much, and it means this much to you. That someone, you know, someone gets that spot and they respect that spot, and they have, yeah, you know, and you, I don't know, you can finish my sentence.
Well, you've got to please yourself, you know,
Right.
and yourselves, you
Right.
know, and from that perspective.
Right.
And that's where I think the 30 years, you know, 30 years ago, you're probably, you know, right about motorcycles and finals and, you know, that.
Oh yeah.
And now it's
heartbreak or things I
Yeah.
don't have, or
Yeah.
things, you know, and then, you know, you go through life and those things, you realize what matters, and then when you're surrounded with things that when you're truly happy with, I mean, it alters what you write about. But you've taken all the lessons you've learned in writing, and now you can really spend them on the one thing that, you know, with where you're at, you know.
Well, I was going to say a lot of people are chasing the dollar or the rock star, the big. Last night I went to a big music venue show.
Mm-hmm.
Love the music, but you lose it because it's just like so
Did you go to Fall Out
huge.
Boy?
Of course. Don't I look like a Fall
Did you?
Out Boy?
No, I'm sorry. My son went to a big last night. I'm like, she talking about Fall Out Boy? Okay, sorry. Get back to.
But I'm wondering, you know, and you're as the musician, you're looking out in the crowd. You don't see anybody, but then if you go to like the Turf Club or whatever, and the exchange you get, I'm like, I would much rather like intimate and
when you're
rather
seeing
than-
faces or
Yeah.
you're seeing
and you
somebody
feel
sing,
what you guys have on stage, and we get it back. We're there. I'm watching the screen, you know.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
I should just be sitting at home.
right. You're not close enough to watching
Yeah.
the screen or a little guy about
Yeah.
a quarter of an inch tall, and you're like, you know, at least I can say I was here. You know,
Yeah.
I got my phone out to prove it. You're just like, yeah, no, just that. When I went to Ireland, beginning of the 2000s, and it was my first time experiencing like true quiet rooms where you'd go and my friend's band, he had lived over there, so he took us over there to meet his family, and they had a small group that played acoustics, and they were playing a venue one night, and it was upstairs. The bar was downstairs. There was no drinks upstairs. You could carry them up there with you. But at the sign, there was a curtain that said like, no talking beyond this point. And you're like, whoa, this is different. And you go in there, and there was maybe 100, 150 people at tables. And when the music came on, you could have heard a pin drop.
I love that.
And I'm like, I want this.
Constantly chasing that.
You're like, I
Yeah.
want this, you know. And of course, our friends drinking, they don't know how to behave themselves, so they're speaking, and everyone starts looking over, and,
Oh, well.
and our friend from the stage is like, now settle down, you know. And they're all talking about throwing our friends out the window and stuff. I'm like, boys, you know, we
Yeah.
don't need to be doing this. But just seeing that, yeah, I thought that was the most amazing
Magical.
thing. And that'd be
Yeah.
more amazing than I've never been in front of 20,000 people, and I'd probably like it, but I don't know that I'd get that same appreciation.
You're
that
not saying no.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
no, but I'm
But-
not saying that I can't imagine they're the same, you know, to where you get that intimacy, and you can look out and there's a face 3 feet from
Yeah.
you, and you're sitting at their level, and they're as drawn into it as you are. You know what I
Yep.
mean? At that point, you're just spiking it up, setting it into the air, and everybody's, even yourself, are watching it, because, you know, being a part of it, it's not you. You know what I mean? You get to create it, but you're still in awe of the moment,
Yeah.
like anyone else who's listening. So,
love
you know, you fire it up, and then everybody sits together, and including yourself, and watches, you know. And I don't think there wasn't anything quite like that. And we haven't, you know, I don't know what's around here. You know, I think when we get more serious, we'll look for that. And I think there's a lot of living room shows, but I mean, no one knows us from nobody right now, so there's no sense in, hey, can we come and play? Like, and you are, and you're like, don't.
Don't worry about it.
Later,
We're-
maybe
yeah,
next year.
yeah.
Let us go do some work, and maybe we'll come back, and you'll, I don't know, let us in. But
Well, and I know, and really, I think before the pandemic, there were the emergence of listening rooms that were that quiet. And now I haven't heard as much about. I'm thinking of a couple in particular that I think are no longer with us. But
Yeah.
I think that there was a movement, and maybe will be again, because
If there's
you know,
not, there should be.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because some of the stuff needs to be heard that way. I mean, you go to a local pub or bar or whatever, and people have every right to be there and talk, and they worked all week. It's a free admission. You know, they don't have to come in and shut up on my account. I'd like them to, but I'm not going to ask them to do that. And so then, you know, it's almost a good exercise, because then you have to like really turn yourself inward, because there might be 3 or 4 out there that are pushing out the sound too to listen to you. You know what I mean? So in a room of 100, there might be 4 that are, you know, so you can't get
no,
pissed off and just like
yeah,
deliver crap
Yeah.
because you're mad. You know, once upon
Well,
a
you
time,
could.
you could, and once upon a time, I probably did. You know, or you, but now it's like, I don't
We call
know.
those the tantrum years. We made it through that.
I thought they were the Jägermeister years,
That was that too.
but so,
one fueling the other.
but yeah, there should be more of those for that music, and for people who don't just want to play it, but for the people who want to hear it like that too. You know,
Well,
And-
stuff like that is kind of how it was meant to be listened to.
well, like going back with you said, the silence.
Yeah.
With the silence being a key instrument in there, you know, it's like that person didn't show up that show because silence wasn't there.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so his part wasn't heard. You know, her part,
The silence part wasn't heard.
the silent part.
The silent part wasn't heard.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I think that's a great way to put it, though. You know, and it's you know, some bands, you know, some bands you go to dance to, and some bands you go to listen to,
yeah,
and some band, you know, it's so you have room for all of those sort of things. And
yeah.
but yeah, I'm with you. I have a fancy membership to First Avenue. All of the members there would like everything to be dead quiet all the time. So there would be a following of that.
Oh, yeah.
If there were quiet spaces all the time.
Okay.
I'm a shusher, so.
Does it start with a look first, just like a, and then a,
Um,
or is it
maybe,
sister
but
so you don't have to
I'm-
look at you?
No,
You just kinda
I'm
throw it.
I will look right, but usually
sh-
they don't see me because I'm so much shorter. But I will. I'm
Shushing them
A
right
shush
into the
with a
belly
stare.
button.
Yeah.
I
Like, where's that
shushed,
breeze coming from? Oh, look at that. What's she doing? She's shushing.
I shushed a group of folks that were out. My wife and I went and saw Ben Harper. This was a couple of years ago, and he was playing at Mystic Lake at the
Okay.
casino of all places.
Yep.
And I happen to be a big fan of Ben Harper. And it wasn't sold out. There was a bunch of empty seats behind us, and my wife and I were sitting in a row, and in the same row, just a couple seats down, was a group of about 4 or 5 ladies, who it was pretty apparent didn't know who Ben Harper was, and they were probably at the casino, and it was their one night in 6
Okay,
months where they all get
Yeah.
to go out
Yeah.
and have fun. Good for them.
Yeah.
But Ben Harper starts, and then it's a 3-piece band, right? And they're rocking, and I can hear them over what I'm listening to. And so I turned to them and I said, "Could you not?" And the look they gave me, like I was completely out of line.
Yeah.
But they did get up and move.
Oh, good.
There you
So, and I enjoyed the
Win-win.
show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just kind of like, why are you here?
Right. If you're not
Yeah.
here to listen.
If you're not
Or
here,
don't be right up
Yeah.
to the people that paid for the ticket that
Right.
day that they were.
Right.
You can go
I'm
up
here
on
to
top.
listen to him,
Yeah.
not you.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
just a basic consideration. You know what? Maybe people are trying to listen. Maybe we should go over here. But there's
Yeah.
just not enough of that. Not to throw a soapbox out or something, but if there was just that consideration, there'd be a lot less of having to, shush fools and just be like, come on, read the room here. You know what I mean? Go
Yeah.
talk out there.
Yeah.
Throw some coins in the slot and talk away.
Yeah.
That's where you do that.
Glad you're here to have a good time, but I'm here to listen to Ben
Yeah.
Harper,
Yeah.
not.
You.
Oh, it's been so long. Oh my God. How's Jimmy? Is he this tall now?
Yeah.
Just do it out there. I'm glad you're out having a good time. Anyways,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
No, I'm the same.
So tell us about working on that album. How's that going? Tell us a little bit about it.
It's going well. I think it's going well. It's fun because we do it in pieces, and we're doing it in my basement again, and so we've tracked his acoustic guitar so far, and then it's kind of like so many other times in the past. He gets his part done, gives it to me, and then I get to have fun because I love recording.
Yeah.
And I hear things, and I'm like, well, that's got to go there, and sometimes I don't have a governor on myself.
Where'd the 50-piece orchestra come from? We got to duplicate this live, right?
Well, a good example is I mixed the latest Rock for Mules record, and I think I texted Eric once when I was working on one of them, and there's like 26 guitar tracks on one of the songs. So
The big fan of
Step away from the
Yeah,
sound.
right. Well, I don't know how many times you were like, "Oh my God, I can't even listen anymore. I got to walk away. I just got to walk away." And then you walk away and you come back and you're like, "No, I'm gonna change. I got to change it all." And then I'd be like, "Just hold on. Just don't overreact because you've heard it so dang much. You're looking to hear it again in a way that you're not going to because you found it, you love it, you like it." And you've gotten used to it, and now you're looking for that high again, and you're not going to get it because you've heard it 150 more times than anybody else ever.
yeah,
So you need to just let it be, and I think that's something that you get to
that's why
learn.
this works.
Yeah.
I think that's something you learn as you walk that too, where you're like, you know what, maybe I've heard this too much. Maybe it is good. I just need to let it go, and I got to move over here now. And then if you walk away from it long enough, you can circle back and then go,
Yeah.
that's still bothering me. Then that's usually something that needs fixing. But if it's the whole thing, then it's maybe you, and you need to just, but.
You
No,
maybe need a
it's-
Snickers.
That could be too. But
You
yeah,
get mixed happy when you're hungry.
well, it's just fun. Like with the record we're making, he puts his part down, and then he trusts me to not mess it up. And so we don't have like a release date or anything like that. I think we've learned that we'd rather have something at the end of it that we're really proud of and that we've taken the time that it needs.
Mm-hmm.
to be done right, because I know we've had a lot of conversations like, well, how do we want to approach this? What do we want it to sound like? How do we want to play shows around it? And so I think we're just, like I said, I think we're just taking our time, and we always seem to know when it's done. We're big fans of letting the song tell us what it wants.
Good.
I think. But yeah, we're gonna do a vinyl. I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And we'll see.
Little 5-song deal, just
There'll
little
be
10-inch.
there'll be
it's not
some
10,
guest
yeah.
spots on there, like Ben Cook-Phelps and Andriana Lair
Nice.
played and
Nice,
sang on
nice,
nice.
Left 4 Dead. So I think we envision it being more than just us two once we bring it to a live thing more consistently.
That's kind of the fun thing about some of the songs is they can be written acoustically, but they can just as easily translate over to a full band and maybe even some slight grit distortion, And so when they can be done in different forms, it's kind of nice. So we can be doing these songs now, and we can release them the way we're doing them now, and then 3 years from now it can be done a different way. I always was a fan of that with bands, when you're like, you love a song and then you hear something of a version that was done like years earlier, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was the first, that's how that sounded, and you realize they weren't doing it on purpose. They were just doing it because, that's what they had at the time, and everything grows, whether the song or the band size or whatever. But it's nice because they can all be done in a couple different ways. So even depending if it's just a duo, we can go do a duo show. If there's a band, we can, put together.
Only if people aren't talking.
Only if people right.
I can be the
shusher?
staff shusher.
Yeah.
at the
Bring you
show.
on as our
Yes.
resident shusher.
I feel like you need a T-shirt with the little scooter on it for your merch.
The scooter.
The scooter that you bought
Oh,
to
yeah.
ride over to his house when he was like, let's start the band or whatever.
Ask me about the scooter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But no, it's going good. It's gonna be fun. Keeps you moving.
Yeah.
It's good to have something to do.
Well, and in the meantime, where can people find you?
Great question. That song is on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. We prefer, if they want to buy it, to go to Bandcamp, Mountain Made Low, Bandcamp, whatever. Just because, unless you want to stream us on Spotify like 14 million
14 million
times, so
times,
you
yeah.
can buy a cup of coffee. But if you really want to support us, go to Bandcamp. I think it'll cost you $1,
Perfect.
and we'll see like 73 cents of that. So.
That is a nice share.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean
And
that'll bump us into the next tax bracket. But I'll have to talk to my accountant.
Right.
Figure
Right.
out.
And you have a Facebook?
Do you have
that they can-
Facebook?
okay.
Yeah, it's Mountain Made Low, whatever Facebook is.
Okay. Okay.
You'll find
Is
us.
the
Yes.
email address on there too?
Yes. I
Yes.
think you do
Okay.
have to
Yeah.
contact. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
I refuse to come into the 20th century, so he's.
That's okay.
He's the
This is
guy.
why
I'm
it
You
like,
only need
works.
one.
Work.
I see. We are
Mountain Made Low Band at gmail.com
Okay.
if you want to reach us. But
and we were putting it out under our own label because I've had a long desire to have just an indie label. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Just
no
there's
one
just
wants to put it out for us too. So
well, well, there's that.
Too honest,
We're
Ryan.
problem
Too
solvers.
honest. No.
nobody wants to put it out.
We
for
don't
us.
need no one telling us what to do, so we're gonna start our own label.
Yeah.
Right? But with that, I've even was gonna suggest going back to the old day of sending postcard flyers for shows.
Oh.
You know, and I don't know. Maybe I missed that stuff, and so it seems a little more indie punk rock to go back to 1993's way
Flyers.
of promoting
Love it.
shows
Yeah.
and stuff.
It's not efficient at all. But
That's not efficient, but I
No.
think it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
You
It's
know.
more tangible.
Yeah.
More personal.
Yeah.
And people hand them out at shows and stuff, and
Yeah.
you got it in
Yeah.
your pocket.
You know,
You're
because
gonna
it's
find it
just
later.
that. Where's the? You
Yeah.
know, that used to be fun. Not
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
look at my website. Well, screw your website.
Yeah.
You know, send me something in the mail. You know,
Yeah.
write a note on it, or I don't know. Put a little effort into it. show me that you really want me at your show and send me a postcard.
Prove it.
Something in the
Don't
mail.
just send me
Prove it.
some electronic thing.
Oh, so you want me to throw this away?
Right.
Exactly. A little bit. I'm looking at the clock on the wall, and so I'm going to say thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been
so
awesome.
much for coming. This has been a great conversation, and we are
Yeah.
looking forward to hearing more music.
Well, when we get it, you'll be the
Yeah.
first to get it.
The postcard?
The postcard.
Just kidding.
I propose to opening up the book and having people sign in their addresses like you used to do. I don't know, maybe people get too think that's too sketchy or something. They think something's up, but I'll put one out there anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Thank you, though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's been
Thank you.
awesome.
We're going to go back to a little music. What are we going to?
We have Cindy Lawson with Screamin' White Jesus.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you guys, that was great.
That's fun. I love it.
I love that too. I love those.